Hey everyone, this is Gregory Hart. This is the Heart to Heart podcast. Today I'm joined by someone, and I honestly had a hard time coming up with how to even explain what she does for a living because she does so much. I'm going with entrepreneur, photographer, whether or not it's marketing or networking or sales or whatever it may be. She's involved in so much, and I'm super excited to sit down and discuss what goes through her head on a day-to-day basis and how she happens to keep everything organized all at the same time. Today I'm joined by Sarah Hill.
For having me.
How's everything going? You seem to be busy all the time. I try and keep up to date with what you're doing just to try and keep in the groove of things. But you seem very busy. You have a lot going on in your life. Can you just give me a brief overview of everything you got going on right now?
Yeah, well, it is currently summer vacation for my kids. So I have three. They're almost all teenagers now, which is crazy. My oldest is 17 and my middle child, my daughter, she's almost 15 and my youngest will be 13 in just a couple weeks. So we are busy with them being home from school and we got sports going on and just life in general. And I work from home. So there's just a lot of juggling going on.
Definitely a lot of scheduling. Like, first off, you look great for having three kids. Never would I ever have thought that. But how do you juggle doing all this stuff from home? I guess the school time really does help. That's got to be your time to really get in the groove of things. And as of like 4 p.m., does that just bring everything to a halt?
Yeah. So I, generally speaking, will work during the day when my kids are in school, and I pretty much lock it up for the day around 2 o'clock. So I get about an hour or so break before my kids get home from school, and I can, rest and, rewind a little bit and then do the mom thing in the evening. But with them home during the summer, it just, every day is different, especially, working from home and running my businesses from home. So I really just take it day by day, and I'm always looking at my schedule week to week to making sure that I've not packed it too full. And that seems to really help me.
I got to tell you, the more and more I interview people, the more and more I realize that I do not have an excuse for being too busy. I've interviewed numerous people who have children, who have constant things on the go. I work a full-time job and I have a podcast, and I think that I don't have time to do anything in my life for some reason. But I guess it really comes all down to the time management aspect of things. And obviously you've figured out how to control that very well to be able to juggle all these different things. Where did this start? How did you start wanting to work from home? Or what was the first thing that caught your eye to starting to do your own thing?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm actually a nurse by trade, I guess.
Wow.
I went to nursing school right out of high school and worked as a nurse for a decade. And I had my kids young. So I had all three by the time I was 26. And as they grew, I started to feel that pull between home life and work life. And in nursing, or anyone who works as a first responder or in medicine, the job really owns you. It's not the other way around. And as my kids got older and as I got older, I realized that even though nursing was once my dream job, that things shifted and I wanted to be more available. I hated missing things. Okay. I hated missing games and practices and just that time tucking them in at night or being the one to wake them up in the morning. So I started a photography business back in 2011, and I built that while I was still working full-time as a nurse with the goal of maybe I can pull back my hours from nursing. I never thought that I was going to quit entirely, but I found, discovered, I guess, that I really liked being my own boss. I liked creating my own hours. I liked the flexibility in my life that it gave me. So I started working my photography business a little bit more aggressively and pulled back on nursing, and eventually just completely quit back in 2014.
Was your biggest goal when you were starting to go into photography? Like, obviously you're saying that you want to be able to cut back on nursing. What did you ever look at any other avenues, or photography always kind of like gave you some interest and thought, I can do a lot of this from home. I can do some weekend weddings and engagement shoots and stuff like that. Kind of give me some more time. Or was it kind of like a list of, I'll try this and this and this, and photography ended up catching you the most?
It was very much an organic growth thing. I never saw myself as an artist or a creator or even as a business owner.
Yep.
Uh, it started very simply and kind of unexpectedly. Our camera broke and I wanted to purchase a new one. And back in 2010, 2011, DSLRs were getting to be a little bit more popular. That's what people were purchasing then. So I bought one and started shooting, just my kids at home for fun. And people would reach out and say, hey, maybe you could take photos of my family. And I was like, you know what, maybe I could. Maybe this is something that I could try. So it was very organically grown. Started out charging like $50 for a session, and then it just kind of grew. And I realized not only was I good at it, I enjoyed it, and other people appreciated what I brought to the table. So I just kind of took advantage of that time and that space and the talent and said, you know what, let's see if it grows. Let's see how this goes. And it snowballed from there. So it was unexpected, but it was really cool how it all worked out.
Oh, for sure. It's pretty awesome how it was just like a trickle effect. Like they saw how good your photos were of your own family and thought, you know what, maybe she can do mine. The thing that's so impressive about the whole thing is there's a lot of people that will get stuck doing a job that maybe you didn't hate nursing. Like it obviously sounds like you did like being a nurse. It was your overall goal, but the amount of time it took you away from your family obviously would cause resentment for that career that you were in. The thing that I find so impressive about you is that you changed. Like there is so many people that will stay in that rut and be nervous or scared or whatever it may be to make the change in their life because they're like, I make good money where I am now. How do I start over? How do I start introducing this? And it does come back down to like that time management aspect where you said you stayed nursing, you did photography on the side until it was popular enough to balance out or get rid of nursing altogether so you'd have more time with your family. I got to say it's really impressive because there's a lot of people in their middle ages that feel like they don't have a choice anymore.
What's interesting is now compared to 20 years ago is that we're starting to get more of a insight into how people are making these career shifts because of social media. Before, I felt like you kind of went in blind. And so most people just didn't have a good picture of what it looked like to make that pivot. And that's kind of one of the things I love about social media is you're able to invite people into your life and kind of show them, hey, this is how I did it. This is how you can do it too. And it reminds people that, hey, there are options. You don't have to stay in one place if you feel like it's not fulfilling you anymore. Just 20 years ago, it's crazy how much has changed. I graduated high school 22 years ago. It's just been so different. I didn't know anything else back then because there wasn't an example of making money online or being self-employed necessarily. So I think now we're going to see more and more people making these changes just because they're able to visualize or see someone else do it. And that inspires them to maybe say, hey, this is maybe something I could do too.
Even like before the social media aspect of it, it almost sounded like any claim to not have to go to a full-time job sounded like a scam. Like
Yes.
when social media started to grow and you could actually see people's success of not working at a brick and mortar place and doing their own thing from home, it became just more enlightening that there is so much opportunity now with the internet and social media to do what you want to do. I guess I don't know, like how nervous were you throughout this whole process? Like I guess with the change from photography being such a gradual change, were you still scared to like leave the nursing altogether? Like you obviously had seniority at that time. You had been with a hospital or wherever you may have been for a certain amount of time. Like how hard was that to make the leap?
It's funny. I still have my nursing license and I keep it current as a backup plan. So I always knew that nursing was something that I could always go back to if I needed to. And that was a little comforting to know that I did have that to fall back on. And even now, that's why I keep my license current because you never know. But the more I explored self-employment and entrepreneurship, the more I discovered that there were a lot of ways to generate revenue in many different spaces so that you didn't always have your eggs in one basket. That never felt good to me to have one job nursing and all of my income and everything came from that one basket. So I started to really realize that if I wanted to do what I wanted to do and feel good about it,
Yeah.
I could diversify it,
Yep.
and see where the growth went so that I never felt uncomfortable trying something new.
I think that a great aspect of starting it with being photography when it comes to social media is you're obviously already going to have good content. Whether or not it's obviously the write up and the follow up about it is different, but you can take good quality photos and show your life in a way that's actually appealing. Like someone's life might be amazing, interesting to see, but if it's not documented well, you're really not going to care. So I think
Yeah.
that was a huge bonus to your platform. And I'll tell you right now, the reason why I reached out to begin with, the day I sent you that email asking you to be a podcast guest was the day I got introduced to you. I
Oh,
have my fiance is a market partner for Monet, and my good friend's wife, Melanie or Melinda Murray, she's a market partner for Monet, and they just are love you. Like
oh.
in all of their like meetings that they have on Mondays and Tuesdays with their groups to like pump each other up and get involved with what they want to do that week, it's always brought up like how well you're doing and how well some of the other big market partners are doing, and or I don't know what it's all called. I know that you're a lot higher than a market partner. I don't know what they're all called, but all of them were just like they loved that push. They loved seeing what you did. Like you had a career that you were happy with and wanted to make changes in your life for your family and for your happiness, and you did it. And it's just so motivating to all these other women. That's the biggest thing that caught my eye was it's not talked about enough, I think, in a broad media aspect of how much women do to help one another, or even just seeing a successful woman can change so many other people's perspective on what they can and cannot achieve. And that's the reason why I reached out to you.
That's so cool. That's so nice. That makes me feel good. It is really cool to be in a space where everyone's rooting for each other
Mhm.
and being a business builder in Monet, in network marketing, in the photography world, in monetizing social media. It's really cool to see that it's the inspiration of if she did it, I could do it too. She is proof that it's possible,
Mhm.
and being able to offer that stuff out there to whoever wants to grab onto it so that they can kind of build their dream life too. I know it sounds really corny, but my focus was always how can I be the mom I want to be while supporting my family in a way that feels good to me. And it makes me happy to know that other people see that and want the same for themselves too.
100%. I've heard it in countless meetings. I heard your name come up, and I'm like, who is this Sarah Hill girl that you guys are all talking about? Like, obviously, I'm not involved in this brand or marketing that they're in at all. But I've seen what the time and effort they put into it and the joy that they have out of doing it on their own. Like it's almost like having your own store. You don't have to bring in the product. You don't have to have a brick and mortar location. You just deal with the customers, make them happy, answer their questions, and get them the products that are best for them. I think my biggest question for you in the aspect of helping younger women, like, do you have advice for the ones that are just nervous? My fiance took almost a year to actually like buy the starting kit and start working on this. She's been at it for only a couple of months now, but how, like, do you have anything to just push women who are like nervous to make this jump into stuff like or stuff like network marketing?
Anything worth doing is going to make you a little nervous. It's going to make you a little anxious. I was not confident the first time I put an IV in a patient or the first time I worked by myself without a nursing preceptor by my side. Anytime you do something like the first time you walk into the hallways of your middle school or your high school or college, your first college class, it's going to make you nervous. It's going to give you a little bit of anxiety. New things don't make us comfortable. So when people say that they're anxious or nervous, number one, that's just normal human behavior. There's nothing about that should stop you from moving forward. Just accept that you're nervous because it's something new, and something new is always a little scary. What kept me motivated to keep going was always remembering why I started. And that's for any business venture I've ever had, not just direct sales, but my photography business, anything was, why am I doing this? I am doing this to be the mom I've always wanted to be in control of my time, to
Mhm.
be available to the people that matter most to me, and to love what I do. And when those things are your driving force, when the why is easy, or when the why is easy, the how just kind of goes, right? When
Okay.
you know why you're doing something, it's easy to execute because that's the thing that always keeps you, motivated and determined to make those changes for your life. So if you're nervous, cool. Everyone's nervous. I'm nervous every single day for so many different things. I never feel comfortable when I'm trying something new, and that's normal. So accept it, but you have to move forward. Remember why you started and just take it day by day by day. Because I promise you, the nerves are not an indication that you shouldn't be doing something. It's an indication that it matters to you. And so don't let that work against you. It should work for you.
It's very well put. When you just compare it to everything else you're doing in life, like no matter what you're doing, if it's the first time you're doing it, you're going to be nervous or scared or whatever it may be. So jump in. Like
Yeah.
no one's gonna do it for you, but obviously it's gonna be nerve-wracking at first. But once you've started, like I had the same thing with doing a podcast. Like my biggest thing with doing anything related to getting out of your comfort zone was I was afraid of failing publicly. Like I was afraid of putting myself out there. Like now I have no issues saying whatever is on my mind when it comes to social media or talking on a podcast. But I know that it was just always a big fear of failure for me. But I guess I don't know. I guess now that I've done the podcast, it really has changed everything for my aspect of the fear of failing, I guess, because now I've done it. Now I really don't care, and now I'm happy doing it. So I started to look at things as I've clearly become more happy doing this thing, even with the original fear. So
Mhm.
that's where I carry that on to everything else I do. So it makes a lot of sense when you say that people are nervous. You're going to be nervous about going to high school, starting a job, doing even when you get a new job, the first thing you do on your own
Oh,
on that job is going to be nerve wracking. So it really does bring to light just it is what it is. Like nerves are a very common thing, and everyone that's doing it with you is also as nervous when they first start. So
and if you're not feeling nervous about something, that's more concerning, in my opinion.
mm,
As far as the fear of failure, failure has to happen in anything that you try. You're going to fail, and it's part of success. You don't succeed without a whole bunch of failures being the building blocks to success, right? No one no one succeeds their way to the top. They fail and learn and keep going. So like for you and your podcast, the fear of failure, well, the failure is what's going to make you better at what you do for a living. You learn from it, you pivot. If that's a whole mindset shift, it's like an exercise, so it takes time. But for anyone who's scared of failing at building any sort of business, direct sales or otherwise, the failures is what makes you good at what you do. I'm not good at what I do because I was always successful. I'm good at what I do because I learned from the ways that I failed. And it sounds simple or maybe easier said than done, but it really is the truth when it comes to building a business.
there isn't like, and I don't know why, just the way that you had said that, like the fear of failure is something that's going to be necessary to be successful. There's no motivational quote from any famous or very successful person that doesn't have something to do with failing and
Oh
getting
my
back up
gosh.
and trying again or missing 1,000 shots you don't take and stuff like that. Like it's always related to failing.
I mean, I think about that. I don't know. It was Michael Jordan who didn't make his varsity basketball team in high
It's
school or
cut.
in middle school or something crazy. Every single person, like if you think of the most successful people that you know in life, the most successful, they're the ones who have failed in the most embarrassing way or failed big repeatedly for years before they finally you saw them up on that pedestal or you saw their success story. And sometimes we just got to remember that it's not the things that hold you back from doing what you want to do are not, it's the entire mindset shift of those things have to happen. You have to be nervous. That's good. Use that energy for to move you forward. You're going to fail, accept that and keep going and trying new things. No one
100%.
hits. I mean, my daughter's in competitive cheer, right?
Yep.
No one hits a back handspring on their first day.
Yeah.
You're going to fail at it a million times before you finally land that thing. And that's just par for the course. So I think a lot of people hold themselves back from, I don't even want to say greatness, but from their own version of success because they're scared of what failure looks like for them. But they forget that that's the only way to succeed.
I also don't think that succeeding would feel as good if you didn't fail
Mm.
along the way. Like, how good would it feel to do a black handspring the first try? Yes, it'd be super exciting that you did it, but would it be as fulfilling as failing at it 20 times and then finally breaking through and getting it?
No, I don't
Like,
think
not at
so.
all. So where did this all change from you? You decided to start doing photography instead of nursing, and you started easing your way out into doing that full time. When did the rest of this start taking picture? Like, how did the Monet thing start? How did it start helping women build brands? How does this all come together?
So I had a taste of business mentorship with my photography business. So I started mentoring photographers, helping them work their business as a for-profit company. So not only would I teach like technical and the emotional side of shooting and the editing and those things, but also really talking about you're a for-profit company. Let's help you make money doing what you love. So I did have years of mentorship, kind of behind me when I jumped into direct sales. But really what started it all was my uncomfortability with money and wealth. I grew up, my parents didn't really talk about it. I had a lot of debt from college because credit cards, I did the thing, right? Where you just get a whole bunch of credit cards everywhere because it's like free money, right?
Yep.
Young and dumb at 18, 19. And then my husband and I worked really hard to become debt-free early in our 20s. And I started to really realize that my conversation and my thought process about money and supporting my family and income and generational wealth and legacy, I had to become comfortable with learning about those things. And what I realized was that diversifying your income streams is the smartest thing to do. When you start to research that kind of stuff and you stop, looking at your bank account with one eye closed and starting to kind of dig into how can I support my family, retirement. So that was one thing that did panic me with switching from nursing to photography was if I'm a self-employed photographer, what's my retirement plan? What am I going to do? Right? I can't shoot till I'm 85 years old. I don't think so anyway. So what's my backup plan or what's my plan for generating, revenue saving for retirement? And the answer, all the research I did, it just kept coming back to multiple streams of income. Multiple streams. That's what you have to do. That's what we have to do, right? Especially if you're self-employed. You want the benefit of creating your own hours and being in control of your time and whatever it is. So I was like, what are things that I enjoy doing that I can make money doing? So it started all surrounded by photography, that space, that creative space. So I started selling ebooks and e-guides, Photoshop actions and Lightroom presets and anything that I could sell online that I could trade. I could make money when I was sleeping, basically. So I could only mentor so many photographers in a year, but what could I do to make money without, trading my hours? So it started with that. And then I realized I can expand this in any way that I want. I started to get that little taste of diversifying, right? So I was sharing my businesses on social media, Instagram business, like running a business using Instagram as that tool was pretty new back then. Most people were just sharing pretty photos online. And some people were dabbling in let's see if I can make money with this space. So it was more or less just kind of an experiment. What can I do? How can I build this using social media? So my photography business, I was making money with my e-workshop guides and editing videos and actions and presets. And then I started dabbling a little bit in the fashion side of it. So for many years, I was a photographer for a local boutique. And that was kind of the moment where I realized people want to see what you're wearing. They want to know where you got it. And influencers, that was a new term back in 2014. It's just, most people were just kind of getting into it. You didn't really know what it meant. And reward style came out, like to know it, which you can link the clothes that you purchased for a very small commission. So we're looking at a 1% conversion rate, a couple cents, a couple dollars here and there, but that was another stream of revenue. So in about 2016, I started making a little bit of money. It was pretty minuscule, truly, like for me, but it was still another stream of revenue. So I started sharing the things I like to wear or what I decorated my house with, and I could make a little bit of money doing that. And then this pot just kind of all started stirring together. Well, in 2017, I had really, really bad hair. That was as simple as it went. I just was struggling with my hair. I found a random post on Instagram from someone I did not know talking about a shampoo I had never tried. And I thought, I've tried everything else. I might as well give it a go. Well, after a few months of using the product, she kind of approached me with, you're sending all these people my way because you're building this life on social media and you're sharing everything you love and you're making money here and there. You're not making money with this, but you could. And I was like, I'm dumb because I love the products. I'm talking about the products. I'm sending them directly to her to buy the products, but this could be another stream of income for me. So what do I have to lose? So in 2017, I signed up as a market partner for truly just another stream of revenue. I thought that it would be a minuscule amount every month. Maybe I'd make 50 or $100 here and there, and that would be kind of go into that big pot that I was creating, right? I never expected it to very quickly become the best business decision I had ever made in my life. And I think that a lot of people, especially our generation, I'm going to be 40 this year, look at direct sales and network marketing as something that's icky or strange or abnormal, when really there's been a huge shift in the whole direct sales market with the introduction of influencer marketing and affiliate marketing. And it kind of all falls under the same umbrella. And I've been doing this for 5 years now, still working my photography business and monetizing other things on social media. But the best business decision I ever made as a seasoned entrepreneur at that point, I had created my own successful business and was doing pretty well for myself. I didn't think I needed another stream. But the best decision I've ever made, hands down, was to partner with a direct sales company that I loved. And it's kind of crazy how it all did snowball that way. But it all started with my intention to stop being uncomfortable around the conversation of money and to learn how to diversify things that I loved and enjoy doing. And that's kind of how that started.
There's a few things I really want to touch on. The fact, listening to you, I got into my own head. I was like, okay, I need to start doing more shit. Like I need to start doing more things. I need to start making more income. And I finally have a setup now where I can really utilize the internet. I lived in an old farmhouse with crap internet. Such an excuse, but now I actually have a workspace that I have a lot of access to, and I can start doing stuff like that. I think that the most interesting part about this whole thing is when I go to your social media page, the best thing that I find with it, obviously what you post and stuff is not targeted towards a middle-aged man, but it does not sit there and scream buy my stuff. That's what I love about your social media page.
That's like one of the best compliments anyone could give me, by the way. So I really appreciate you saying that.
Faintly and in the background of everything you do, you really do promote so many things. And the best thing about it is you can truly see that you do enjoy it, because most of the stuff that you post on your stories or in your actual social media that you wear and you tell people where you bought it, you see you wear it over and over and over again. It's not like you just promoted a big product and you're like, look at my nice shirt and my shoes, and then the camera shuts off and you're like, I hate this thing, I'm never wearing it again, and then you never see it again. So I think that has helped, that has just shown me the genuine side of you. But how do you, I don't know, I guess you have to have a lot of patience. I don't mean to jump all over the place here, but how did you start with Monet and being able to promote it without being that like in your face all the time salesperson?
There's actually a really easy answer for that, which is good. I always look at what I do. I look at my account. I look at every single piece of what I put out on social media as if I were the consumer. Okay. So I know the kind of ways that I want people to share things with me. I know the things about influencer marketing or direct sales marketing that I don't like as a consumer. Okay. So when I post or share anything, it could be the shirt I'm wearing, it could be hair care, it could be makeup, could be skincare, could be whatever. I always share it from the perspective of, if I were the consumer, how would I want to see this? How would I want to be exposed to this business, this product, whatever? And if it doesn't feel right to me, it's not something I'm ever going to put out there. And I'm very intentional about that, because I do not want to be that person who you meet me in person and I'm nothing like what you saw on social media. My nightmare is promoting something on social media that someone comes back and says, Sarah, that was awful. I hated it. And there's no way you wore that or used that. And so it's always about adding value and sharing what I love, and the right people will come into that space and enjoy it and appreciate it.
I can respect that because that's kind of how I've tailored my podcast. I've listened and I've consumed so many podcasts on a week to week basis. And that's kind of what pushed me and motivated me to do my own. But it also brought a lot of tips to me on what I wanted it to look like when it came to making small clips to promote it, when it came to sharing it, when it came to doing Instagram stories to try and get people to listen to it or let them know that an episode dropped. I didn't really like it's gonna be the best episode ever. Like, come and see it. Like, it's like as if every single one that I release is my number one favorite episode. I never really wanted to come across like that, so I can definitely appreciate that. Do you think that that's your most important? Um, I don't know. Do you feel like that's what's most important when building a social media brand is to try and tailor it to what you want to see, regardless of what it is? Because if that's what you consume and that's the kind of thing you're trying to put off, it's obviously a very good key to try and tailor it to the stuff that you want to see. I don't know if that sounds stupid, but
No, I kind of know what you're saying. It's important for me to be able to share myself exactly as I am
yeah,
online. So I'm only going to share the stuff that I enjoy and the stuff that feels good, and take feedback from my followers and adjust accordingly, because I'm not putting on a show. I'm really just there to add value, maybe make someone's day or life a little bit easier, inspire them in some way, entertain them in some way, or empower them in some way. And it's really hard to put on a show or create a brand around something that isn't true to me,
yeah,
because that's going to be it's really hard to remember the lie, right? It's so much
fair.
easier to remember the truth. So that's what's important to me. But as far as like being salesy, if I don't want someone to jump into my DMs, for example, and pitch a product to me that I never said I wanted, or no reason at all, we've had no conversations, da 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 da, and I don't like that. That doesn't turn me on. I don't appreciate that effort. I would never do that to somebody else. So I always think from the perspective of, yes, me being a consumer, but also me being as genuine and truthful and transparent as possible, because I'm not building a brand. I'm sharing me and my life and what I do for a living, and I'm the brand.
Yeah.
So it has to be genuine and transparent. It has to make sense, but it also has to add value to other people in a way that I would appreciate others adding value to me. Kind of like just a mutually beneficial relationship kind of thing.
No, I can definitely respect that because yeah, obviously it would take away a lot of your credibility when someone does something that you recommend and it's trash. That's not going to help you get any farther along. Do you think that there's a negative side of over informing someone, like giving someone too much information regarding something? Like, it almost feels like it's being like shoved down your throat when someone's just like this and this and this, and then this is the pros and these are the pros and this is the pros and this is the pros. Like, I understand that when you're trying to sell something or you're trying to explain how good a product it is very hard to say something negative about it. But I'm always a big advocate to, this thing isn't perfect. And it's hard when stuff always comes across that way to someone who's trying to sell something. I'm in sales for a living. That's what I do as my full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
So I can appreciate when someone just comes to me with direct honesty, like you talk about when you talk about the products that you sell. But I know that my customers appreciate when I tell them that I'm not going to be the be all end all best thing you've ever had. I sell the same products that other people do. But what I will do is I'll separate myself in the fact that I will always be there for you when you need me. I'll be there 24/7. I'll put in more effort than anyone else is going to. And I'll work day and night to try and make it as convenient and easy as possible for you. I guess my question in all this is, do you think that you should ever, I'm not saying that you should crap on a product, obviously, if you truly believe in it, but do you believe that there should be a little more transparency when it comes to your likes and dislikes for a product if you're trying to sell it?
It's funny. I'm not trying to share anything that I don't like. And
For sure.
that goes beyond Monat. It goes beyond direct sales. It's just in general. So are there products that I don't use? Yeah, I don't have curly hair. So I don't use any curly hair products that are, I don't have thick, coarse hair. So I don't share that stuff. I don't have oily skin. So I don't share that stuff. Doesn't mean I hate it. It just means it's not for me. And I feel like and you've heard this a million times, promote what you love, don't bash what you hate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
100%.
just in the business of sharing the stuff that I love. And if I don't love it, I will be perfectly 100% honest, whatever it is, whether it's clothing or a makeup brand or a Monat product that I don't use for whatever reason. You have to, the credibility matters. And me, like what I put out there matters. Like I don't want to create a narrative that's false. So I don't think it's a matter of being honest about things I don't like. I think it's a matter of sharing the stuff that I do.
I think that my target for that question was not necessarily like I sure as heck would never go out on social media and just talk about all the podcasts that I dislike. But I mean it for like the aspect of if you had a hair product that you knew was meant for your hair, when you talk about that product, would you ever say like this isn't specifically for curly hair? There's a better product for that. That's definitely not what this is meant for, but for thinner, straight hair, not coarse, this is definitely the perfect product for you. Like I just mean like explain like the both sides of things. Because sometimes you hear about a product and it's like it just feels so like just I'm just using hair care products just for example,
Yeah.
just because you hear people that are just like it's so good for your hair, it makes your hair feel amazing, like this is the best thing going, and it really could be for that person. I feel like the hardest part with some people, like, and I'm just using hair an example, I know nothing about it, where people would shoot themselves in the foot is they say it's the best thing, be all end all. Someone asks them what that product is, they buy that product and it's not even for their specific application. I think that's why I truly was like, because I hate to go on a rant here, but when I originally reached out to you and had my list of questions, one of the things was how do you get past the people who say it's a pyramid scheme?
Mm-hmm.
The only reason why I say that is because pyramid scheme is such an outrageous freaking term to use for any sales because pyramid schemes are illegal. You're not giving a product, you're not getting something for your money. So it's a stupid thing to call a specific type of sales. But when my fiance wanted to get in on this brand, I talked to my buddy who has a wife doing it. And I said, like, what do you think about this product? I know nothing about it. I just don't want, my fiance wants to make more money and she's used the product and likes the product. But I'm like, I don't want this to be something that hurts her or makes her upset that she can't do if the product really isn't that great, but it's been working for her kind of thing. So I guess my overall question with this whole entire rant was, I guess, do you ever just explain, and I guess that's why I liked Monat more than any other brand, was the fact that there is specific products for each specific type of person. It's not like a one-stop shop, ever like one fits all. I guess that's where I was trying to go with that.
Yeah, no, I will never, again, transparency matters. There's not anything that I've ever shared on social media necessarily that I'm like, oh, this is perfect for everyone, because nothing is one size fits all. Not in any brand, any skincare, any hair care. I mean, even the clothes that I wear, it's not. So yeah, if something honest marketing, yes, I promote honest marketing. So I'm not ever going to come out there and tell someone that this is what they need when it's not something that they need. That doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help me and it doesn't help them. As far as people being scared or timid or unsure about direct sales because of things that they've heard about pyramid schemes in the past, what I do for a living is sales, just like anything else. This is sales. And it's sales that I am very passionate about. Someone comes knocking on my door wanting to sell me a furnace, that's sales too. Does it make it a scam? No, it just makes it sales. Selling a car or I mean, literally anywhere you go, any influencer online who's sharing things that they love or use, it's sales. That's what it boils down to. You have to be transparent in that marketing that you use. Is everybody? Absolutely not. But I can't control what everyone that's selling something on social media is saying or doing. I can only kind of control the information that I put out there. So being dishonest, and I think that's kind of the word that we haven't been using, being dishonest in your sales tactics, as far as like recommending certain products just to get a sale, isn't going, your business is going to fizzle out very quickly because you'll lose all credibility. No one's going to refer anyone to you, and you're not going to have a loyal customer base because the trust will be gone.
And honestly, truly, this entire pyramid scheme or scare or nervousness to direct sales is such a, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's an older generation thing, in my opinion. Like, the only reason why I say that is I was in car sales when I first started sales like 6 years ago. I was in car sales, and it was crazy how different the older generation was to buy a car versus the new generation. The old generation was like kicking tires, had to go see 5 different dealerships, had to go see 5 different sales reps. And they honestly, most of the time, made their sale on how they were treated by the sales rep.
Mm-hmm.
But every time it was like, you can do better, you can do better. Come on. Like, it's like this 90s car salesman crap. And I worked with guys that were, instead of sold cars for 50 years, that were those original shady 80s car salesmen that everything you possibly liked, whether or not it was a Corvette or a 2-seater Chevy Sonic, it was, this is the best thing going. There's nothing better. Nothing can beat it. And I think that scared that generation of how
Mm-hmm.
false sales were.
Mm-hmm.
But like the generation now and like your age and everyone younger seems to be so much more open to the fact that you don't have to have a physical shop or location to get a product from someone. That person is like how you see say influencers are growing and getting bigger. That person is the liaison and the person who has the information and honestly a guinea pig to that product. They've had it, they've used it, they've become educated in it, and that's why they don't need to have a stock room full of it to sell it to you. Like, but I think that's where we've come as for direct sales. And the pyramid scheme thing, I'd heard it so much, and I always only ever hear it from that older generation.
You know, there are pyramid schemes out there, and where you get concerned with that kind of stuff is where there's not a product to be sold, or
Yeah.
there's not a customer centric company. 70% of Monat's revenue comes from customers, the customer base, the VIP customers, the retail customers, the person who is not building a business. And I
Yeah.
think that's a really cool, massive thing. You know, for me, I don't want a whole bunch of people signed up as a distributor with me. It doesn't do anything for anyone. It's not beneficial to anyone. I'm not asking for any sort of an investment for nothing in return. You need to make an investment in any business that you have. And that's not scammy. That's an investment in your business, whether it's a direct sales business or anything else out there. My photography business, my first year, $10,000, easy, right? Didn't profit for a while. My husband has his own business, no profit for a while, lots and lots and lots and tens of thousands of dollars invested. Does that make it a scam? No, it just makes it an investment in a business with a long-term vision. And I think that the more people who work a direct sales business, direct to consumer marketing and business the right way, with, you know, a goal of building trust with their audience, building a transparent and genuine brand, consistency with the way that you're sharing on social media. I think older generations or people who maybe have been burned with certain companies in the past will start to see that, hey, it's not what it used to be. It's a really great way to share what you love on social media and start where you are with what you have, low initial investment with a high potential return, and see it as a great option for them down the road. But the only way that conversation is going to change is by transparent, honest, genuine, customer-centric people working for direct sales companies. So I don't think it's something that's going to change overnight. I think, 9 times out of 10, if you're out somewhere telling someone that you work for a direct sales company, there's always going to be someone who says that as a knee-jerk reaction from what they maybe grew up hearing or from an experience
Yeah.
from a friend or family member. But ultimately, that doesn't matter to me in any way, shape, or form. There are also people who think you shouldn't have a microwave in your home, or that, this religion is fake and this religion is the real one, or whatever it is. There's always going to be people with opinions, but that has nothing to do with the way that I run business, as long as I'm doing it ethically, and I'm doing it with great purpose, and I am being customer centric, and I am being honest, and I am being transparent and genuine, and building trust with my customers and the people that I work with. So whenever I hear someone say pyramid scheme about what I do for a living, it doesn't give me any sort of response at all. Like, I hear the words and it doesn't affect me in any way because it's apples to oranges. It's not even a comparable, if that makes sense.
Oh, 100%. I actually thoroughly enjoy your references to the comparing certain things because it just simplifies it so much that it's like I just want to hear someone address your profession as a pyramid scheme just to see your reaction and how you just dumbfound them, because I've literally gone to the point now, like my fiance's only been doing this for 2 months and I defend it. Like it's
Yeah.
just gone to the point now where I've seen the success that she has, whether or not it's in the skincare line or the hair care or the dry shampoo, whatever it may be. I don't know anything about hair. I've got the coarsest, curliest hair you can have. I use Dove shampoo. Should I be? Maybe not. But she loves this product and she pushes this product. And when we go to events now and someone asks her how it's going, it's always this like, it's always just hard because she's new to like posting on social media to help grow this brand. She wasn't a big social media user to begin with, and now she's starting to grow that aspect. But it's like people just happen to have opinion on everything when it comes to social media if they're not heavily involved in it or aren't using this absolutely incredible tool to grow their business or grow their like opportunity. So it just bugs me when I show up to an event and the first thing that she gets asked is, how's your shampoo thing going? It's like, okay, so you listen to the first 5 seconds of the story and then you skip the rest of it. That's awesome. And then she'll start talking about the product and they'll be like, just seems like, I don't know, like, how do you even do it? Like, it just, they just blow it off. Like, it's just something so stupid. I'm like, do you see her hair right now? Like, do you not remember what she looked like a year ago? Like her hair was so thin and it was not as healthy and it wasn't as full and it wasn't as nice, didn't have as nice shine. Like, I don't even care about shampoo. And this lady has me defending shampoo at public events. I don't even know what to say anymore. It's just, people just love to judge and crap on something that they know nothing about. And I love social media influence for that specific reason. And it's literally the main reason why I wanted to talk to you, is because the way that you present yourself and you come across to people is so genuine, and the way that you promote products, regardless of what it is just, it's a great way to consume it as a person who, in no offense, doesn't care about any of those products.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cool way to see it. It wasn't like, oh, I don't want to see this shit, she's just trying to sell me something. But it was just like, look at what this girl's doing. Like, even just looking at your or your Instagram like timeline, like all your posts, even the way that all the colors and stuff work together, it just looks so appealing. And I was just like, what is going on here? Like, I went back to mine and it looked like a storage closet compared to your organized social media page. So I guess that was a large rant again, but this kind of stuff, it boggles me, just being in sales and seeing the way that I sell for a living. And then having people think that because the person's doing it online with not a physical product like I am, it's not the same thing, is brutal.
I mean, social media is the wild, wild west, right? Like people are just gonna, we got gunslingers, we got all sorts of crazy stuff happening on social media, but none of that has anything to do with me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, sales is sales is sales. To me, there's no difference in whatever it is you're selling or whatever a car salesman is selling or anyone at the heart. It's all the same thing. But when you're selling something on social media, you're more visible. And when you're more visible, you're more vulnerable and susceptible to attacks from people on social media, which to me, again, is neither here nor there because it has nothing to do with me.
Mm-hmm.
When you're more visible, you're more of a target. And that's just kind of the way it is. So building a business on social media, whether it's traditional influencer marketing or direct sales marketing or whatever it is, there's going to be a lot of talk, but a lot of talk I don't need to defend anything that I do for a living or who I am or what my purpose is or my passion or the things that I use and love, because people are going to talk regardless and it has nothing to do with me. So while it's sweet that you want to defend her, and I understand what you're saying, it's my opinion. The reason I can do this with such like happiness and fulfillment and contentment is because I know that none of it has anything to do with me. So you can say what I do for a living is this or that, or your grandma or your uncle Sam or the neighbor down the road said whatever. It doesn't have any effect on my bottom line or my brand or who I am as a person. It definitely doesn't dictate how I decide to show up for the people that I've grown to build trust and community and business with. And it absolutely does not trump why I do what I do every single day so that I can be the mom I want to be. So people talk because,
Incredible.
that's just what everyone needs to feel heard and important. And, you're going to talk to talk, but that has nothing to do with me. So yeah, I don't know. I just feel like whenever anyone says anything that, even with like my photography business or quitting nursing and working from home, everyone has an opinion about that too. I mean, it's not just direct sales. Like you could just smile at someone and they don't like your right front tooth and they got something to say.
That's so true.
And so I've been dealing with it for over a decade, well before I added direct sales to my life. And it just is what it is. And that's because social media has made you so much more visible to people that don't know you. And I don't even think it's the direct sales market. I think it's just social media being what it is.
That's true. Is direct sales your main focus now? Like, is that what you invest most of your time into?
Yes, ultimately, because it offers me the most flexibility, the most income, and the most fulfillment, truly. I think it is really, really cool to be at the age that I am, and be able to impact other women my age, aging gracefully and beautifully as they are, right?
Amazing.
So working with great customers makes me so happy. Working with other business owners, mentoring makes me feel very, very fulfilled. I love photography, but it took up way more.
Weekends.
Yes, weekends and nights. I
Fair.
was missing everything with my kids in the evenings, and I hated that. No family dinners, no evening games. I wasn't home at bedtime in the summers because sunset's so late. Monat has given me basically my dream life in a beautifully wrapped gift. So that's where my focus is because it is the most fulfilling for me.
How big are you with Monat? Like, you hear all these people that are like, you're in the States. My fiance and her friend know about you very well. I don't know anything about this company or brand or you or any of this stuff. But do you now speak at Monat events?
I do. I was actually just in Canada a week or so ago,
Ottawa, right?
10 days ago, speaking at, they had a event there in Ottawa. So I was there speaking. Yes. So that's a really, like, it's so kind, like truly that they think enough of me to ask me to speak at these things. And I think that's very, very special and just so nice. Like, oh, thank you for thinking enough of me to speak at things. So I do that. I think the reason a lot of eyes were on me, or maybe that you've heard people talk about me, is because I grew very quickly in the business very fast and been able to sustain a healthy business in the last 5 years. And I'm just as motivated and excited and passionate about it now as I was on my first day. And a lot of people burn out for various reasons. I think the number one reason people burn out is poor time management. And I'm still as in love with this company and their mission and their culture and their products and the people I work with now and more than ever. So I think that I've been an example of what's possible and an example of how you find joy in this business, and even an example of how you do it in the right way.
Well, sir, I got to say, from before I even knew you to the women around me that you've influenced and how much you've time and effort you've put into changing your life from what it was to what it is now is inspiring to me, inspiring to the women around you. And really the people who truly pay attention to your social media and have seen where you've come, not only now knowing that you were a full-time nurse, 3 kids by the age of 26, now you're killing it in sales for a company that you truly believe in. You're doing photography and you're helping people build brands, and it's a lot. It's amazing. And it's amazing to hear. It's nice to see that there's all these different avenues for people to take. And that's the sole reason why I have a heart to heart. It's just to talk to people about what makes them kick, what pushes them to succeed, and give people different ideas to make money, to better manage their time and realize how busy some people are that still manage to be happy and manage to do the things that they want to do. So I got to say, through all this, thank you so much for coming onto my podcast and talking to me today. I know that these girls will listen to it and be pumped that I got to talk to you. I know they've been asking me lots of questions that I should ask you, but I really do thank you for taking the time out of your day to speak with me.
Well, thank you for having me. It was fun.
If someone does want to see your social media platform or potentially reach out to you about Monat, or if it is with building brands like you do, where's the best place to find you?
So you can go to my Instagram. It's Sarah Hill. I have 2 H's, Sarah with an H. Sarah Hill 920. That's my birthday, September 20th. That's easy to remember. And from there, you can click on the link in my bio and it takes you to my website, or, there's just various things there for you. So Instagram is probably the best way.
Amazing. That's SARAHHILL
920.
920, September 20th. You literally said it. Thank you so much, Sarah. I truly, truly do appreciate your time. I'd love to do it again sometime. And thank you for taking the time today to have a heart to heart.
Thank you. Bye.